Good afternoon, everyone. Hold on, let me check my audio. If any of you are online and you can hear me, I see that my micro. Hey, Neil, welcome, welcome. And I'm glad you made it in. Good evening. And oh, come on now. Why, clearly things have happened here. Hold on just a second. As I argue with the internet, I got a commercial own conversation here. That's kind of funny. Well, Neil, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a nice Christmas. Let me mute myself because I don't need to hear me. So, folks, let's. Right now we have. Hey, Loretta, howdy. Yes, everyone's safety, absolutely. I want to check a couple of things here, and I've been completely off Prince of Platinum. Neil, would that be you on there by any chance? Hold on, let me pin this. Okay. I figured Prince of Platinum, but I wanted to be sure. Howdy, man. Hey, Sky Girl, what's going on?
How's it going, my brother? Good to talk to you.
I'm doing good, man. How have you been? Man, it's been too long since I've done one of those like ad hoc lives and put the link up there. I got a I got a very drunk man the last time I did that. This was a couple of years ago. And fortunately, he was a really fun guy to have on a live stream. He was quite comical, and I never saw him again. Like we looked for him. Several of us were like, "Where'd the guy go?" And we never. I guess it was just some random. It's like that drunk guy that shows up at your table at the bar, and
The
he's
wedding
really
crasher.
hilarious. And you talk about him for months after, but you never see him again.
Yeah,
But
the infamous wedding crasher.
basically, so yeah. So how you
Um,
been, man? It's good to talk to you.
Short you did with your cat and your dogs. I thought that was cute.
So Loretta, it would be this individual, Neil Han Dynasty. Um, And man, I need to have a conversation with you offline about silver prices because what the hell? It's silver is the same as it was in the times of Jesus. The dollar's going the other way is what it is. Mm. But good evening, everyone. And so right now we have some serious weather coming up. Let's share the screen. Neil, how's your weather right now? If you're where I
We
remember
had
you being.
of wet days almost 2 weeks in a row. Actually, today was the only day it hasn't rained in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of
Oh man,
unusual for the Bay Area this time of year.
yeah, we really need the rain here. I'll tell you what. Um, so this is what it looks like. I know Hudson Valley prepping and survival. Hey, Miko, what's going on? Regional, hello, hello. I hope you are not in the air right now because the turbulence. I was looking at the aviation maps, and it was pretty horrendous lately. There were a lot of notices to airmen. I'm in the middle of a snowstorm and rain. Everything turned to ice. Oof. That's dangerous. Okay, so you've got rain out on the coast, correct, Neil?
Yes, sir. Bay Area, California.
Okay. And right now, oh, so shoot, you are not far. I will be in your neck of the woods visiting some family in March-ish. So
Oh, right
if I
on.
make it out there, I will. I'm assuming you mean the northern bay, not the bay
Yeah,
where all the smog is.
no, North Bay, Vallejo. It's right beneath Napa.
Okay. I will be visiting some family in the whereabouts of Modesto. So if I do make my way out there, I will. I'm in Europe. Oh, fly as little as possible. Yet to keep. Yeah, and regional. It's one of those catch 22s. You don't want to be. constantly working, but you want to work enough so they don't go, "Who's this person?" and then you get laid off, which I've seen happen the other way. But yeah, Neil, if I'm in your neck of the woods, I will reach out to you. Maybe we can sneak off and grab a coffee or a glass of wine or something. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. By then, my company will be open and running, and I can share some of that stuff with you if
Oh,
you happen to be able to do so.
there is actually Preacher Bill's numismatic guy out here, and I spoke to him at the last gun show, and we're supposed to do he and I and Oscar Aguirre, which is he makes custom silver pieces that are technically not coins. You remember how they saved when they told everyone to turn in your gold and silver in the 1930s?
Yeah,
A lot of people turned it into jewelry. That's his
yeah,
specialty, is turning silver into heirlooms.
interesting.
And yeah, and I found that I was like, man, it seems like it's coming all the way full circle. But okay, West Coast not too bad right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the Northeast, you're gonna have a bad evening. The next 24 to 36 hours. I wish I'm gonna text Hudson Valley and see if he can jump on. He said they were getting very serious precipitation. They're expecting ice and sleet in basically this area, I guess from this web from Buffalo, I guess. Hold on, my map's a little bit screwy here. So from Buffalo through Syracuse, where you see this purple, but he's thinking it's going to extend down. They're going to get ice rain in that area, and that's super dangerous for folks. Um, Neil, you've just had a lot of rain. Are you having any mudslides in your area?
Not in the Bay Area. I would look seriously for that happening up in the Sierra Nevadas right now, because every year that we have, and we've been having them quite a bit, that we have firestorms and lots of fires in the woodsy area. Uh,
Right.
when we have cold winters, that's when we have like rock slides, landslides, and all that other stuff. So I'd be anticipating
Well,
that.
and with all the fires you guys had, because outside of
Yeah.
Copperopolis was one, which would have been northeast of Modesto.
Yes,
You
sir. This
had one
goes
there. I got
south.
some
Yeah.
footage from that, from the ground. I got footage, which was very cool. Hey, farmer.
Believe it
Um,
or not, that actually stimulates gold being put back into the rivers of Northern California.
really, from the runoff?
Well, what happens is the root systems of the trees get into the rocks, and then the trees burn, and the root systems get charred and burned. Rain comes in the wintertime, fills that crack, freezes, busts open the rock, and then you get landslides, and it just deposits more gold. Like the Amador River is one of the main rivers that runs through the gold region of Northern California. That you can still go out there pan and get gold 150 years after guys have panned to get gold.
That is absolutely wild.
Yeah, it keeps getting refilled up. Not nearly as much as 1849, but
Yeah, before people showed up and took it all.
yeah,
But yeah, that's just wild. Hey, Michelle. Michelle, good to see you. Oh,
we,
farmer is up in Michigan. Winter storm warning, 48 inches, 50-mile-an-hour winds. That wind is killer in the snow. So Michigan right now is looking at a bunch of mixed precipitation. Um, and that is just nasty stuff. Well, Neil, I'm glad to hear you guys aren't getting a bunch of landslides and whatnot.
it's boy howdy.
Well, at least,
We've had our share. We have had a couple earthquakes. Actually, this one town had like 40 earthquakes within a half hour in the East Bay here recently, like 3 days ago. Small ones, 4 points.
pig pug, you can't pan for gold in New York without giving them a cut. Well, you have to buy the license and then you pan and you have to give them a cut, so they double dip. But
Have you ever?
actually, Neil, by Napa, isn't there a park where kids can like pan for gold? They have like a little setup and little kids.
Yes, up in that area, there's actually several. Between there and Sacramento, there's I think the American River. They've got an old covered bridge that's a historic bridge in that
Right.
area. They've got a place where you can go and do that stuff. And then you get gold. I mean,
And you find bits of gold in there. That's just wild.
it's
I'm trying to.
constantly getting replaced. You get,
That's
do you see the
just
private chat?
the what?
The private chat on the StreamYard, it has comments, recording, and private chat.
Oh, I'm trying to find my private chat. I don't know why it's not showing me. No, it's not showing me that. I don't know why. Ever since I, oh, there it is.
I was about
It's
to say, it
already
should be a red 2 up there.
made. It has no,
That's
the curl
interesting.
mode. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, yeah.
That's my email. And I was also wondering about if that car was made near Hudson Valley's where he lives, because it's made in
That
Hudson
I
Valley.
don't know. That's a hell of a good question.
Because it's,
Northwest of Grand Rapids.
man, you guys need to move south.
See, and you know what? That's what scares me is where it's raining and then it drops because you get that's when you get the ice
Black
on
ice.
on the roads. When we had the big freeze in Texas, what wound up happening was we had snow, then it melted just a little bit the second day. And so you had water and then it froze again. And then it snowed, ice, sleet, and so on. And what we had was this evil lasagna of garbage on the roads, but the water got into the wind farm windmills and froze in the machinery
Oh, yeah.
and then caused it to fail, and they were catching fires. These things were popping on fire, so they were flying helicopters dropping diesel, a petroleum product, on the wind farm windmills to get them unstuck, and half of them caught fire. There's still some burned out. um, but yeah, this is pretty bad right here. Blizzard warning in Franklin. So farmers up here in Michigan, he said Grand Rapids. So let me, yeah, that's just, no, that's the water itself. Why did they color the water red? That's just confusing. Um, yeah, that's just rough looking right here. Um, for those of you who want to see the key, let me see if the key comes up. But that's going to be, God, that's a mess up there, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and you guys got hills over there? Like, no, it's not flat like it is here.
No, we got lots of mountains and hills,
Yeah,
micro.
you guys do.
Yeah,
But,
they probably got some up in that area.
oh, yeah. Well, we're just on a big flat plain, but we're at like 3,000 foot elevation.
Okay.
My part of Texas is higher than Vegas, which is in the mountains, which is just weird to me. But,
Well, the central part of America rose up a couple million years ago. It was like a big lake. That's
oh,
why
yeah.
the farm belt's so rich. It's because it used to be the bottom of the sea.
Well, that's where all the oil and gas came from in the Oklahoma, New Mexico,
Yep.
West Texas, was all the plankton dying in the ocean. You and I need to talk geology too, because you know my what business I'm in. When you get ice on your power lines, the power lines come down and you have no power. Happened up here a couple of times. Oh, yeah, that's tough, and it's dangerous too because it also freezes the trees, the tree limbs. The tree limbs fall and cause all sorts of other issues. So upstate New York is looking pretty rough. Um, from Niagara Falls all the way through Utica. So and this is my old stomping ground here as a college kid, was upstate New York. New York City looks like it's going to get some. Man, that looks pretty nasty. So, folks, if you are planning or you have to get to work, because you know, Neil, somebody's got to get to work at some point.
Yep.
Folks, check your tire inflation before you leave.
I,
Um,
I like your idea of having bring a survival pack for cold winter stuff,
yes,
extra stuff. Because if your car something happens to it and you're on the road and it's freezing out there and your engine cuts off, How are
You're
you
in
going to stay
trouble.
warm? Oh, you're in trouble big time. So
Yeah, it can't
thermal
be.
little coverings and stuff. So, think about that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's scary. Actually, we just had folks, an elderly couple traveling from no, not from Chihuahua, Mexico. They died outside of White Sands, like literally just past El Paso, somewhere like Alamogordo, and they were in a 2024 Toyota Camry. I mean, they were in a very new vehicle, and they basically just drove off the road. They went into the middle of nowhere, and then the car shut off, and they passed away. And the cops were looking for them for a week. They didn't know, like, where the hell did they go? And they literally just went off road and drove off into like this, that New Mexico desert, and it wasn't hot. But the cops think in the evening, that desert,
Freeze.
yeah, it goes from 35 in the morning to 80, 90, even in the fall, and then it drops to 30 again, and they passed away in their car. Really bizarre. Yeah, no, folks, if you're gonna driving to drop a load, oof. Hey, Minute Man, what's going on? Hey, Miko. Um, yeah, so folks, if you're going to be especially up here, this looks like a whole hot mess. Um, if you're going to be up there, if you have jackeries, charge them, bring some firewood in to the garage or to a dry place.
Yeah, you don't
So,
want to stick firewood on a fire.
yeah, no. You got some propane tanks. You may not want to bring them in, but at least shelter them somehow.
Sure.
We're supposed to get freezing pretty much everywhere north of Houston, or near freezing, but we're not getting a bunch of precipitation, at least not that we know of. St. Louis, what is that? Man, that looks kind of funky.
I
Hold
don't
on a
know how many
second here.
people have exposed outside water pipes coming from the ground going into
Yeah.
their house, but cover those because that'll really screw you if the
Oh,
big time gets hard.
100%. Insulate any water lines. You may want to run the water.
Yeah,
Moving water doesn't freeze, believe it or
yeah,
not. So,
just keep it rolling.
mhm,
Extra little bit of water because if that thing freezes and you need water, yeah, good luck.
you're going to be in a bind. Also, your pets and your livestock, if you have livestock. I think Farmer will be limited because I think he's managing a herd. Farmer's managing a herd up there. Um, but any animals that are not acclimated to being outside, like cats or pets, dogs, you need to groom. The desert of southern Nevada. Yes, absolutely, Minuteman. Um, we were shocked the last time we went to Vegas in the winter. And we were going to the museums and we were just seeing sights. We weren't even gambling. And we brought jackets and we were shocked. We thought West Texas plateau was bad, but southern Nevada will get wicked cold very quick. Feeding 6,400 cow. Holy crap. Well, folks, let's see. I'm going to share this with you. Let's see what we can do here. Trying to find the dude. There it is. Neil, let me know if you can hear this while I got you up here.
Okay.
West into the Northeast. Great time to use the free AccuWeather app to help you to stay safer and
Yes.
make the best decisions. We have many tools in the free AccuWeather app to help you with winter weather and staying safer, making the best plans. One of those is AccuWeather's exclusive Wintercast. And notice Wintercast is front and center in the app. This is the Today screen on the app, which you can access by downloading the app, and you can scan the QR code on the screen in order to be able to access that. And we're going to list out with Wintercast any time when snow and ice is expected over the coming days. And notice the details that we provide here in Green Bay, coating to an inch tonight into tomorrow morning. You see the details there. But when there are multiple storms, they're going to be listed here as well. And so you can see we're also forecasting a larger storm, 3 to 6 inches of snow between 5 p.m. on Tuesday and ending at 1 p.m. Wednesday. Now, of course, you have the latest radar. You can tap on that. But another feature people tell us.
It begins with a vision.
That's
Bold,
not helpful.
uncompromising.
Cadillac had to jump in there. Um,
One thing I'd like to say, if people are in that area, I don't know the condition of each and every individual. I know every city has a couple warming centers in case power
yes,
goes out.
that's
Man,
absolutely true.
in case your power goes out.
Yeah, the warming centers are definitely a good idea. Yeah, it's like the summers here. We have cooling centers, same principle.
Yeah, for the
Um,
elderly mostly.
Yeah, and for the homeless as well.
Yeah.
But
Well, it
folks,
used to be as we were growing up, it was for the elderly, but times have changed.
yeah, no, most definitely. But yeah, folks, as Neil pointed out, you may want to have a cold weather kit, or you may want to just go through your vehicle and pull your bags and your typical emergency gear and update for colder weather. And also like things like gloves, hats, like a beanie is absolutely priceless in a bad
No,
weather
yes,
situation.
yes, it is.
What do you get? A really high end beanie is like what, $15? It's not expensive. Um, yeah, they're calling it a cyclone bomb. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me share this screen as well. But check your vehicles. What I would recommend, if you go sub freezing, you may want to go out before you go to bed, run your vehicle, go to bed, and then maybe set an early alarm, 4 or 5 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, get up, put on some clothes, go and run your vehicle again, and keep the fluids moving. So you don't wind up in some kind of trouble. Let's find let me find this. There it is. So right now, the back end of the blizzard. So yeah, the jet stream's cutting north. So upstate, yeah, that whole northeast corner. I don't think I can make that much bigger. Um, but then there's a cold front or a big drop almost all the way to Corpus Christi, Texas, which is just absolutely insane. It's looking for 30-degree drop south of central Texas and 30 to 40 north of that, and then a 50-degree drop around St. Louis and Springfield. And man, Neil, that's dangerous stuff if you're outdoors working.
That's tornado area, is it not?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this whole general area, like right here.
That's very dangerous right there. Again, preparation is key in any situation like this. It's not just SHAF or whatever. This could be
Oh, yeah.
So as Pete was saying, you want to update your survival gear in the car. Worst case scenario is get a flat tire and everything's frozen up and the lugs can't move, and you're going to be there for several hours. Think about that type scenario and prepare for a worse scenario, not worst case, but a worser scenario than just driving from point A to point B.
And you can get a handheld CB. Basically, it looks like a puffed up walkie-talkie. You could get them anywhere from $40 to $80. You don't need a license for it. It's citizen band, hence the name CB. If you have a GMRS license, that's great too. If you have a ham radio, that's even better. But the CBs, if you get stuck, especially on the Snail, you may have seen this, you get knocked off the road with weather, and other vehicles are going down the highway. They can't see you because you're not not in their line of sight.
Yeah, especially if it's heavy snow.
Yeah, or wet rain or a dust storm.
Yeah.
We get those out here. Yeah, but this is really ugly.
That's another thing. Check your lights and make sure your emergency flashers are working. And you can't touch yourself.
Oh wow, Minuteman, that's wild. We hit 80 here in western Oklahoma, and by midnight tonight we'll be below freezing with strong winds. So I'm in West Texas, and I will tell you, we were about 78 yesterday, and the winds just started when I started this live stream. And you could already feel it. Like probably in another hour, I can't go out in a t-shirt anymore. I'm gonna have to put a hoodie on or something. Um, no, that's another thing that Minuteman brings up is the winds. If you're driving, it makes life for the truckers really hard. KP was saying his son was a trucker. I think he set it up here somewhere.
Yeah, and if those winds blow off those 18 wheelers, imagine what it'll do to a small vehicle.
Oh yeah. Well, even worse, people don't give the semis room in bad weather.
Yep.
They're gonna wobble, right? They're gonna fight it. And people are knuckleheads, and they get all up on the trucks, and they start getting hit by wind. Their trailer is gonna move. There's nothing they can
Uh-huh.
do about it.
Yeah.
And if you're all up on his ass, and he's gonna whack you, and there's no intention, and you're gonna get launched. Uh, Coffee, this was completely off schedule. No worries. I'm glad you made it. The tire plug and a fix-a-flat can
It's a good
tire
idea.
off, and you're good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, some of the rechargeable, like the Ryobi power tools, they have a tire inflator.
Yes.
So if you have a big temperature drop before you leave the driveway, you know, some of the cars like mine it tells me, hey, your tire's low. But you could just go out there with the machine and put the battery in it and just check real quick. Um, oh, look at that. Mississippi Gulf Coast, 77 headed to 25.
Worry about the Gulf Coast because you got that Gulf wind. It's a real humid wind. And
Mm,
if it's humid in the daytime, that wind's blowing, it goes below 32, it starts turning icy and you get black ice in that area, believe it or not.
yes. Oh, no. I lived in the Gulf Coast for years and years. No, that is gumbo weather, though, Neil. That
Yes,
is
very much
definitely
so.
gumbo weather.
Oh, yeah. No, some good gumbo too, bro. They got
Oh,
good
yeah.
food down there.
And I'm a charter member of a little church outside of Lafayette, Louisiana, and the pastor moved to another congregation, like he transferred away, and we haven't been there in years. And I'm curious to see if they finished the church because we were worshiping in a junior high uh, gymnasium, and it was like a congregation of 70. It was the most beautiful church because we didn't have anything.
You know, that's actually, in my opinion, the best kind because then it's more based off the parishioners than the building.
Oh, 100%. I'm looking at the flights. Let me bring up flights here, Neil.
Oh, I imagine
Uh,
they're severely delayed and something you might want to look
yeah.
forward to.
So I'm not seeing. It
No
looks a little
delays.
thin up here. That really doesn't.
Delays would be in red, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that is correct. Buffalo,
Wow.
4 centigrade. So that is pretty damn cold. Okay, so K Buffalo, at 018 Zulu, which would be 1 o'clock England time. So yeah, about this is recent. You got 8 knot winds from 100 degrees, 4 statute miles, visibility. Uh,
That's not much.
no, it is not for an aircraft. It is not at all.
No. I
Overcast at 1,100 feet. Um, let me see. These are, there you go. 20-minute delay departure, 5-minute delay arrivals. That's not too bad. Rochester, no, Rochester's not showing anything. Rochester is not an international airport. That's a lie. Let's look at Syracuse. And Syracuse. Oh, hey now. That's not what I wanted.
only see one red plane on the. Oh nope, it's just turned yellow now.
Yeah, no, I clicked the little guy and he got
Oh,
angry
okay.
at me.
Okay.
But yeah, these flights. Let me see if I can find the I'm going to see if I can find the flight delays. I'm kind of
Now that,
surprised that they only have a 20-minute. Oh, that's a great idea. Look at that. Battery jumpers, tire, air pump on it. Yeah. And if you have a tire jumper, a battery jumper machine, that does help. Not just for yourself, but you could have a neighbor or friend get stuck and you could help them out. To go outside this house, you need thermals and 3 layers of clothing. It's 21. And temperature is dropping. Pure ice. Damn. Let me see if I can find those flight delays.
definitely fireplace weather up there.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Let me see. Flight delay tracker is the one I'm looking for. If I can find the right one. Yeah, so folks, if you're traveling, keep in mind, even if you're traveling by air, you could very easily get stuck in an airport, especially if you get diverted to a regional airport. You could get stuck in an airport that has no food or water overnight. And so you really need to, if you're flying anywhere, like for New Year's or family, folks, you really need to, pack some water, bring an empty water bottle. They won't let you bring the liquid. Neil, they don't let you bring the liquid through anymore, do they? Because I'm pretty confident that hasn't changed in the last 6 months. Oh, there it is. Misery map. All right,
Personally, I just
let's.
wouldn't go outside or travel unless it was absolutely necessary in
Yeah,
that conditions.
and I know some folks may have to travel for work. Um, oh, so they are having all sorts of delays here. Out of out of the Great Lakes region, New York City is looking pretty rough. JFK's 58 delays, 91 cancellations. These guys are hurting though. Um, yeah, you got a lot of heavy delays. Washington D.C. Yeah, all along. Oh wow. So yeah, if you're flying, see, and that's where if they get diverted and you wind up landing at a regional airport, they don't stay open past midnight. Um, Class C airport or D, you land and they let you in, and then it's like, YOLO, bye. So you want to have snacks and some food and a drink.
Yeah, especially when you're well in any condition where you might have to be in your car for longer than usual. Actually, first time I left California back in 2000, I was going to Highway 5, and they shut the whole freeway down for a life flight scenario. And the freeway was shut down.
Oh
Good
wow.
weather. They just shut the freeway down because they had to get someone out of the truck and life flight them in, all this other stuff. And then the freeway was shut down for like 4 or 5 hours. So just a trip that you think's not nothing's going to happen, you might need a snack and some water.
Yeah. Don't let those jump packs. Not pretty. No, don't let them. No, yeah, that's right. The battery packs, that would be terrible. Half-inch tire, half-inch impact, tire inflator, jump box. Yeah, I wanted. I want to know who it was that wanted a warm Christmas. Mother Nature makes you pay for it. um, Folks, look, the weather's really, really funky. This is kind of unfortunate here. This is rough looking. Um, that's O'Hare Airport, and JFK is not looking much better. Washington's not. But you're flying from, I don't know, O'Hare. You're going to Atlanta, and you get diverted by a front like this one here, Neil, and you wind up going into like Bufu, Ohio. and I promise you that airport will be closed.
And
And
that's a bitch.
well, I had a coworker wound up having to go to Denver for a meeting, and there were three of our people. And she said they were flying back. They got hit with weather like this halfway, and they wound up landing in Hobbs, New Mexico. I don't know if you've been to Hobbs, New Mexico.
No, I have not.
Have you seen the Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Okay, Breaking Bad in the form of a large town is pretty much like Hobbs. I don't. It's terrible. I'm sure someone from Hobbs is going to complain about me saying that, but everything's shut down. There's a casino, but you have to leave the airport, and once you leave the airport, you can't
You
get
got to go
back
through
in.
security.
Right, and of course, this happened on like a Friday night, and the airport was shut down when they landed at like 9. It was shutting down. They couldn't get an Uber um, to any significant place. They called the local hotels. None of them had a room because there are only like two hotels there. Um, I mentioned to her, "Did you guys try the casino outside of town?" And she said, "Shit, I didn't think of that because they probably would have had room. At least they have a
Yeah.
buffet, right?"
Yeah.
Um, so they got stuck at the airport, and she said like they managed to finagle the Coke machine. That was about it. Nothing was open to eat, and they basically stayed there. And the airport staff didn't return until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Next morning. Yeah.
Yeah, and they landed at 10 o'clock at night, so they were sleeping in chairs. Their luggage was just, so even if you on your carry-on you take a fold-up blanket or a poncho, like the wubbies they gave us in the military. Oh man, like or the newer one, the fuzzies. I like those things. That's an instant blanket. About
Yeah.
last year to this time, I had snow to my waist. Oof. So, folks, if you are traveling tonight, that is, or tomorrow, in the next 24 hours, it's going to be very funky looking.
Northeast area for sure.
Yes, especially the Northeast. Now, you're going to get big temperature drops everywhere else, pretty much from New Mexico all the way to the almost to the East Coast. It looked like those were in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Um, check your vehicles if you're flying. And Neil, I'm absolutely on the same page with you, man. It's like if you don't have to go anywhere, stay home.
Yeah. And if you are going somewhere, it wouldn't be a disadvantage to call someone and tell them that you're leaving and where you're expecting to go. In case you do you go off the road or whatnot and are unable to get to your phone, it takes a couple hours. They'll know
Yeah.
what your route would have been, and that could seriously help you out.
Oh yeah, 100%. And again, it goes to the planning too, right? What did I said on central console on low heat? Oh yeah. By the way, if you do drive a lot, it sounds like Minuteman does, go to the truck stops and go to the trucker. Don't go to the snacks and all the tourist bullshit. Go to where the truckers go. They have coffee pots that work on 12-volt. They have all sorts of cool shit. Um, but let people know what your route is and what your alternate will be. And
Yep.
Neil has a very good point because, if I'm driving from Texas to Cali, it's I-20 to I-10,
Yep.
and until I hit LA and then I cut north. Um, if I tell someone, hey, if something really bad happens, I'm going to break north and go through Vegas, that's a completely separate route.
Yep. Now you're
And
going up through Nevada to get to Cali, and you're coming
and you're
down
going to go
Reno.
through the northern path as
Yep.
opposed to through Joshua Tree and around.
Yep.
And if they're looking for you at Joshua Tree and
When
you're
you're up in
somewhere
Reno,
between Las Vegas and Copperopolis, you're kind of hosed because nobody's going to find you out there.
pretty much. And
Yeah,
that's
you really.
that's why it's good with what you just mentioned to let people know your alternative route, your main route, so that
Yeah,
at least somebody knows.
yeah, and plan your trip if it gets really bad. And we've had this happen in Texas. And by the way, Miko, I did not know that, but that makes sense. If in a snow emergency, you can take your snowmobile out on the street. So if it's declared as an emergency officially by the state, you can use your snowmobile at that point.
Hmm.
I wonder
I
if
would
you
think
can
if you
use your
could get away from the
ATV.
cops in a car on your snowmobile, it would be legal because you didn't get caught.
You know what? I wouldn't even try to run from the cops. I'm like, man, I can't drive my car in this. Man. I mean, look at what we have. I mean, come on, you give me my ticket. That's fine. If you got to give me a ticket, give me. I'm not going to fight the poor cop because I'm sure he'd equally like to be at home. Um,
I'm sure
but
they
yeah,
wouldn't want to get outside their warm car to give you a ticket.
you know what? If you weren't being a, if you're not being a dumbass, I don't think they'd care. Like if you're just putting up the side of the road to get to the gas station to get NyQuil for your sick kid,
Yep.
I think you're the last guy the cops are worried about. They're worried about people getting frozen to death somewhere in the countryside. Well, Neil, when was it? Was it 2 years ago or three? That what 23? That God, I can hear the wind, man. It's getting really wicked out here. Um, there were people coming up. What is it? I-95 on the East Coast from Florida,
Yeah, it's 95.
and then they were hitting Virginia or North Carolina, and there was a blizzard literally at the border. And they got through South Carolina, hit North Carolina, and all of a sudden it went from like 70 degrees to 27 and 3 feet of snow. Do you remember that?
Not off the top of my head, but what
It was a
just
blizzard rolled through, and it kind of swung like the way the jet stream fell. It just kind of swung right at the border between North and South Carolina,
uh-huh.
and people were driving up from Florida in like their flip flops and
Yep.
shorts and a t-shirt, and all of a sudden they were in sub-zero weather.
And imagine having car issues in flip flops in the snow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that would be
and
horrible.
that, you know what? That's a good point. You may want to always have a change of socks and at least sneakers or hiking boots in your truck.
Yep.
Um, I live snow emergency. Oh, here he goes. In the city, you can take your snowmobile out if you see red flashing lights on the street lights. Oh, no kidding. Then a lot of groups help the cops out on. I can see that. Pigpug, that's actually a really good idea. Um, that's where an MRE and a roll of toilet paper works well. You don't
Yeah.
even need the entrenching tool because you could just dig a hole in the snow and poop in there if you need to.
Hmm.
But no, that's actually a really brilliant idea. Had the flood, they had canoes, turnpike getting people out of the water. We had people on jet skis in Houston when
When you had the flood.
Ike hit and it flooded the highways.
Yeah.
And there was one strip of street that it had two civilian cars. Then there was a police car also in the water. So the cop went to help the people, and then the water got to his car. So the SUV was there, the people, the civilian vehicles were there, and then about 20 yards back was a stuck Humvee from the Seventh Infantry, which was out of the west side of Houston. And I'm thinking to myself, that E4 absolutely got his butt chewed for that one because he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go help the cop," and stuck a Humvee in there. But there were guys. There was a guy on a jet ski. I'll never forget this because I was on the elevated highway and had a cop on the jet ski with him. And the cop had a radio, and they'd like go up to a car, and he'd look in the window, and he'd wipe the window, and then he'd call on the radio and say, "This car's good." And then they go to they were looking for people trapped in the cars, and it was the damnedest thing to behold. And then, of course, they go to the stuck Humvee, but not knowing the weather on your travel route.
Yeah, it's just and check
Oh,
on your neighbors too,
oh
especially
yeah,
the elderly or your single mom with kids. Check on them in these conditions.
yeah. Oh, that's a good point, Miko. A lot of local police can listen to it. Yeah, I think Loretta mentioned it. Check on the elderly. Yeah, there it is. And also, you know what? Neighborhood Facebook groups, if you live in a subdivision or like in a town, usually you have that one or two people in the town that create the town Facebook group. That's a great place to kind of watch, because if you get a busted water main in a freezing condition, you're going to have an ice skating rink right down that whole road once the water freezes.
Yep.
And for you guys in California, my daughter's out there. She was saying social media was great, where people were saying, "Hey, the smoke is so bad on this highway. Don't even attempt to go there. You're better off going this other way if you need to get from A to B, because you can't see. There's no fire. You just can't see." Um,
There's actually been times driving through Pinole, going to a job site where the refinery, one of those big white tanks, those holding tanks, actually
yeah.
blew its lid like 300
Oh,
meters in the air, and that's right beside Highway 80, and they shut down southbound Highway 80 for several hours because of that. I mean, it was a nice day too. I mean, it wasn't like it was inclement weather or anything, but
oh
they
yeah.
shut down for that reason. So there's lots of reasons for them to be able to shut down a highway on you that you just can't expect.
Yeah. And again, having the food, the water, if you get stuck, like the evacuation for Hurricane Ike and or
Yep.
Harvey, um, somebody they have a big wreck on the highway and you get stuck there, especially an elevated highway, you can't get off.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like I-10 in the New Orleans area where you got water
yes.
all around you, you know?
Oh,
You get,
those the elevated that just go through
yeah,
the
it's
bayou.
like 22 miles of screw you, you ain't getting off. It's like, oh my God, please don't run out of gas, anybody.
Oh, and then you have the bridge over Lake Pontchartrain from
Yeah.
New Orleans to the North Bank,
Yeah. You go like
and that
5 miles
literally
from
there's
the exits.
yeah, there's a 5 mile bridge. The water's not deep. What is it, like 10 feet in that lake?
It's not deep at all, but the fact that if something were to happen, it would only take one small thing to stop all that traffic. No turnaround, no nothing.
This pig pug brings up a good point. And I went to college up in upstate New York, pig pug, and yeah, um, I wasn't there in 22. Obviously, I'm a little bit gray for that, but yeah, that's another thing. The people who don't prepare are the ones who do dumb shit, and they start hitting other houses. We had a woman towed into a shop, really cold winter. She had left Florida on the way to California, and Tyler, oh, for solid while she was driving. She didn't know she needed antifreeze. Oh, educate your kids and your spouses, people. Oh no, that stresses me out.
That's where stepping up and being a good person. If you know someone's going on a road trip, just asking
Yeah.
simple questions, to make them think about what their maintenance level is on their vehicle at least, because most
You,
people don't think about that.
this is actually a good idea. You get those FRS radios. They don't need a license. Absolutely right. And if you get a bad freeze, you can communicate. I have coworkers in my subdivision and right across this little highway. I guess in an emergency, I could give everyone a radio and people could check in. And by the way, I think Hudson Valley talks about the no comms plan.
Yeah,
One of the things we used to do in Houston, there were a group of guardsmen, and the Cub Scout leaders, because we had all our kids were in scouts together.
yeah,
Um, we all had FRS radios, and a few had GMRS, and we all said, "Hey, we'll check the radios at what was it, six? Was it 7171, something like that?" And every morning we just pop on the radios and just listen, and we do a radio check, and then we'd be like, "No, we're good." Every now and then you'd have the silly requests like, "Does anyone have beer or anyone have vodka? Because we can't get out of the subdivision." So they were like, "We may as well get drunk." But that's actually a really good point Miko makes, is having a radio.
that brings me back to something that America was founded on that we no longer do, and we don't really need to, but we kind of sort of do. And that's like a Minuteman scenario. And I'm not talking about grab your weapons type Minuteman
No,
scenario. I'm talking about have a group of people in a community that can react to a situation, car wreck, anything. Just be able to stay in communication to help route things, route traffic, route people, just to help. And if you stay in communication, it sounds like that's like a Minuteman-esque kind of thing that
and
needs to happen.
they got rid of the old civil defense.
Yes.
And Texas has a state guard which kind of fills that role. It's the governor's militia, and it's the feds lump them in with first responders because they don't really know what to do with them, but they're not illegal. Like you do the background check and everything. But CERT was supposed to take this place of civil defense, and it is very. Is it? Have you seen any out there? Because it's very inconsistent here.
Last place you see them is probably New York and California, my friend. These people here are still trying to ban us from owning gun. They only want to make it legal for the illegals to have weapons out here.
And like Houston had a very big group in the Woodlands, just north of Houston, and they had a 100-person team, and they had broken out into traffic control. The
Exactly.
sheriff knew them. There was
Exactly.
traffic control. There were guys who were licensed to use heavy equipment.
Yep.
And
And
then
you
there
need
were,
that kind of thing in an emergency.
yeah, and
Cops
the
don't know how to
sheriff,
work those big heavy equipment.
no,
You
and
might
the
have to go to the
national,
car or something. No.
well, and you and I both know, look, if you call the National Guard, they have some QRF, quick deployment groups,
Yeah.
right, that can get out there. But the bulk of it takes about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get a good unit out there
Yep. And
with
that's
all
where
their kit.
that's
Um,
where if you see like any natural disaster, the first thing you're going to see is the guy next door helping before anyone else. Just be prepared, being that guy next door, and get together with a bunch of other guy next doors and accentuate that to where you have a community that can basically where you don't have to rely on the government. And when it comes, it'll be a relief help, but you can cover most scenarios. And that's
yeah.
man,
And
that is a great community.
even if you volunteer with the local fire department and all you do is put on your jacket and you put a high vis vest and direct traffic, that's a copper firefighter who
That
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
to
to
do
be
that.
there. Exactly.
And they usually will loan you a radio if you're already a known volunteer, and they'll be like, okay, here, Neil, Pete, use radio, you go to this intersection, you go here.
Yep.
And if something gets out of hand, call for us and we'll send the guy over. um God, I think honestly, with these kind of weather and all the other weird shit, it's like we need more than mags. You almost need like community groups
Yes.
that work with the local government. And it's like, hey, you know what? We all live here.
I 100% agree with that. Some sort of a community organization group that just helps the community out. And to do that, you got to stay in touch.
Yeah.
You can hook up with your local fire department, get a whole bunch of people trained in that. You can go to your PMS, your paramedics, and maybe get first aid training. And you could just, as you said, you could be that body, that warm body that needs to fill a spot to where someone who's trained can be in a spot that's really needed. And that can save lives big time. It also makes the people doing those jobs feel support in time where they usually don't have the backup.
And actually, it's funny. So the state guard, again, it was civilian volunteers, guys like you and I. They train us for specific roles: comms, traffic control, evacuation, stuff like that. Because the guardsmen were at that time stuck in Afghanistan. It was like the tail end of everything over there.
Yeah, you can't really count on the guard being here all the time.
One of our roles was there was a group of guys who, because any unit that deploys, they leave some NCOs and a couple of officers behind to manage mail and equipment. They would have an emergency number that if a family member or the family of a service member who's deployed needed help, they would call this number. That officer would call the state guard in their civil defense role, and then they would send the Humvee or some cases a personal vehicle and collect that service member's family and evacuate them to somewhere safe.
Yeah.
So our guys deployed, the guys and girls who were downrange, at least knew, hey, I got some people who've been checked out, they're trained, and if my family gets in trouble, they'll go and help.
Yep.
Man, we really need we need a civil defense again, like the way it used to be.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We need that, and all it takes is caring people stepping up and making it happen. Because anyone can go. It's harder in the city because they like having control of you in the city. If you're out in the country in a small town or a medium-sized town in the country, it's real easy to get to know the sheriff and the local police captain
Mhm.
and they're usually locals anyhow. And what's happened with our nation is we quit with the cops on a beat where they used to walk around and get to know people,
Right.
and that's the beginning of what needs to come back, is that
Yeah.
communal policing. And it's not that the officer was there, it's the same officer, and you got to know him, you became friendly with
Yeah.
him, and you wanted to help him.
The
You
beat
didn't want
cop.
to see things bad. Yeah, we don't have those no more. And that's it's like having a cop here. We tried this in Vallejo because we have zero cops that live in Vallejo that are on the Vallejo police force. You know how much crime it would solve if we had like 26 cop cars in 26 different neighborhoods in this city of cops that lived
Oh,
here?
well, even if you had, they have like the civilians patrol, the civil patrol here, they call it.
Yes, COP,
Um,
Citizens on Patrol.
yeah, and like a citizens on patrol, exactly. But having just again, guys like you and I, who we're professionals, we've kind of understand the way things work, and they're like, hey, we need you to, here's a point, they're going to drop supplies, here's an officer, here's some volunteers, and just coordinate that, and then they can free those cops up to go somewhere else, um and rescue people who are actually in danger. I mean, that would be huge. That's, I guess, a force multiplier. I don't know how else to put it. um Not lethal force, just force of people. You can, um everybody knew my dad when he was a fireman, LEO, in the late 60s and 70s. I'm charging up my radio. Yeah, I actually have both my Baofangs. And oh, so I want to show you guys one other thing. And by the way, you should not transmit here, but let me see if I can get that. And this is the public aviation maps. So I'm gonna pick, I don't know, I'm gonna pick Dallas because no, Dallas is kind of a hot mess. Hold on. Yeah, Dallas is fun.
Was it Dallas Fort
So
Worth?
the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
Um, so God, that's a hot mess of airfields. Okay, let me share this just so y'all who have radios. Okay, so what you've got here, these, and I'm a drone pilot, believe it or not, Neil. I'm like an FAA licensed drone pilot. So
Sweet.
I had to take the pilot's exam,
I
and
remember you
everything's
doing a video on that.
the exact same as a Cessna pilot until you get to the actual aircraft, because I'm not sitting in my aircraft, I'm sitting on the ground, and I have this little potato in the air that's flying around. But so you look here, right? You got these blue lines are actually, think of an upside down wedding cake. These are the aviation layers, right? So out here, they are 11,000 feet down to 6,000 feet, and I don't want to get into the weeds on this, but like this is Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. Well, if you look here, let me see if I can find it. You see here, so the control tower is actually on frequency 124.15. Right now, don't broadcast on there because they'll call the FBI and you'll be in a bunch of shit. Um, but the control tower has multiple frequencies, and then they have the all the other people, the maintenance, the ground crew is on 122.95 frequency. So you can actually sit there and listen in to what they're doing in an emergency. And then this shows the direction of the actual airfields. Like on the map, it shows versus true north where those airfields are. So if you live out like in the middle of, I don't know, let's pick Bufu somewhere. Uh, yeah, you want to see something fun though. Watch, see all these blue boxes? That's weather warnings for the pilots. What the hell's going on here? That's interesting. Oh, that's security notice. You Fort
Oh,
Belvoir, you may not fly in this area at all. That's a restriction there. You need to call. You actually need to call Fort Belvoir to get permission to fly there. Um, yes, farmer, absolutely. Um,
is that
to
an army base?
I think Belvoir is an army base, but it's like one of the aviation side, so the
Yeah,
helos, the
for heroes.
transpos, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. So you're right, Neil. I should do a video. Let's pick this little airfield here. This is Garrett County. I don't even know, in Maryland, right? So it shows you the airfield kind of runs from southwest to northeast. It's almost like 90 degrees east to west. And you click on that little icon there. You click on the name, and it gives you all the info. So like, has the frequencies, the automated frequencies 126.75. If you're on approach is 425. So I guess CTAF is the control tower in general, and the Unicom is the general purpose frequency. So you can look this up on SkyVector and listen into local airfields. Again, don't broadcast because they will figure you out very quickly and then you'll be in trouble. But let's look at like even, oh, what the hell's going on here? I guess they're
Is that
having weather
another
here.
restricted area
Yeah, that's
in California?
Air Force Base, Beale
Yeah.
Air Force Base. Yep. So you can't fly here even with a drone or a private plane without calling the base and getting permission. But you could be out in like a little place like this. Oh, that's a weather station. Check it out. And bloop. It's a little airfield. It shows you the layout and it shows you all the frequencies.
Oh, for like a local airfield?
Yeah, it's just a local airfield. Any functioning airfield has to be on this map. See, so Tonopah, I don't even know what the hell state I'm in. By the way, all this here is Air Force restricted. See, special military activity. So yeah, you can get in trouble. You fly in there and the MPs will come find you. But and then it gives you, but yeah, you can find so you can just listen in on these frequencies, like 123, and then Tonopah navigation. Well, that just gives you a beacon. That really doesn't help anything. But yeah, these guys all answer up to Los Angeles. So in that general area.
LAX controls that
yeah.
airspace.
So folks, you can actually look up on SkyVector the frequencies for your local airport and just listen. They also will list the Baofangs will also typically have the NOAA channels programmed in, so you can kind of flip around and listen there. So yeah, so he's got AR5RM. Yeah, so that one you should be able to listen to Airband. You can listen to Coast Guard, all the non-encrypted public channels. But folks, look, you got some nasty weather coming north Oklahoma all the way to the East Coast. California looks like a lot of rain and junk. I wonder if that rain's going to come and whack us here in Texas like 2 days from now.
Quite possible if it makes it over to Sierra Nevadas.
Yeah, because we get hit with a lot of stuff from y'all. It comes over the mountains, and if it consolidates again, it whacks us. So. But
yeah,
Neil, man,
you might be getting some rain.
Well, Neil, I'm planning to do a live stream, talk a little bit about precious metals. I will reach out to you if I do that.
I'm mostly a platinum guy, obviously.
Oh, excuse me. No, and that's fine. Again, as Livingston Man points out, you can't eat silver and platinum. It's a transfer of wealth, but I think it's another lever you can pull. In an emergency.
What I always say about that when people say, well, platinum's not money. My response is neither are houses, but more people have made money off of houses than they have off of gold and silver. Yeah. So it's not a matter of can you eat it. Is the value going to go up to where you can exchange it for something you can't eat? And how much will you be able to get with it when you exchange it? That's the question you need to ask yourself, not be sidetracked. Well, it's not money, because you're losing an opportunity.
I think it's important to have the options. Because let's say even if the US dollar collapses and you have platinum, silver, gold, you can still transfer it to the next variation of
system that we're going to have. Yeah.
Money,
I think that transformation is happening through a digital system, and that'll take the brunt off of because we are going to be changing bills. Because I don't know if people remember during the Biden administration, there was a lot of talk about he's either going to kill the economy or kill the dollar. and it's going to have to be one or the other. I don't see us killing our economy. There's too much
Yeah.
infrastructure being brought in. So we're going to kill off the dollar and sacrifice that. And it's not
Yeah.
going to be as bad as people think, because in 1971 they killed the dollar and started a new one. It's not going
Yeah.
to, I mean, it's not going to be like the death of the
Hell, what
world.
was it in 1935?
For what?
The original transition from when Roosevelt asked everyone to turn in their gold and silver
1933.
coins. 33, thank you. It was in the Depression. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, and it wasn't, everyone calls that a confiscation. It was not a confiscation. Not one federal agent went to anyone's house. It was
Mhm.
strongly advised, using advertisement schemes to make people shame them into turning their gold in.
Yeah.
A lot of people did not turn their gold in. It's not feasible for this. For the
Well,
federal
and
government to get
that,
someone.
my friend Oscar, he will take, if you have silver and you want to change it, because silver is very malleable, change it into another type of entity. And part of what motivated him to do the custom jewelry with silver and gold
We need to
was
talk.
the old stories of 1933, where they're like, oh, well, you should turn in your coins, and people got scared. And they said, but we don't need jewelry or anything like that's an heirloom. So people took their bullion and made jewelry out of it.
And that's why they made it illegal to melt down the sovereign coins.
Yeah,
And
but
that's a
nobody
problem
could.
with owning sovereign coins. If they do go for confiscation or reconfiscation, you can melt down the rounds and it not be illegal and turn it into jewelry. But legally, you can't melt down the sovereigns.
Right, but
Not that,
technically speaking, they'd
yeah,
have to figure out you did it. And
yeah. Not that it would be, yeah, it'd be hard to prove, but
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, that's a good point. They kill the Federal Reserve notes.
Actually, if people really think about it, when Trump had said he wants to get rid of the IRS and income tax, that and the Federal Reserve both started the same year. They got their laws got passed differently, but they both started, I think, in 1913. And income tax is what funds the Federal Reserve. So if you want to get rid of the Fed, support Trump and get rid of the Internal Revenue Service and income tax, because then the
Yeah.
Fed will have no money and they will go away.
Yeah. But that would be a great topic for a finance live stream, which we will probably wind up.
Sorry.
Oh no, I went down the same rabbit hole just now, and then they'll put us in jail in that live stream. But I just got out of Instagram jail because I indicated that somebody who causes harm to a child should be beaten with a stick, and I was a little too graphic in my description, and apparently that was frowned upon by Instagram. So
I found
um,
if you use words like be unalived, it makes it past all of that censorship.
so I've been getting creative. Deleted, corrected's another one. If that
Yeah,
individual gets corrected with a broomstick, then
yeah.
they'll learn, right? Everyone knows what I mean, but it's
Oh,
a
exactly.
correction.
It's like
1913, there you go. Thanks, farmer. 17th Amendment that stopped each respective sovereign state legislature. Oh, interesting.
yeah, a lot of things changed around then. Also, 1908, we adopted first legal legislation on what doctors are in our society. And shortly after, they passed legislation on that, stating that uh, health was about chronic illness and not natural and holistic medicines. Then they created hospitals to teach doctors about critical medicine.
Didn't Mr. Morgan support that endeavor?
Yes. And so did the couple billionaire like Rothschilds and stuff like that. Actually, I think it was
Uh,
Rothschild's lawyer who
no,
wrote.
who was the steel guy? It wasn't
Oh gosh, now you're on.
Carnegie.
Yes, Carnegie. He was the steel
I think
guy.
he was in there somewhere. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
but well, Neil, man, thanks for joining me. It's been too long since we had a good chat.
I appreciate you letting me up here. Most people would see me and oh God, no, it's Neil.
No, actually, it was a great convo. We will need to come back. I need to get a few people who have some knowledge of the history of finance in America, and maybe do a live stream where we literally dig into like
Oh,
where
that.
could we go 29 and 2027,
Oh,
26, 27, 28.
I'd love to be part of that conversation. I have
Um,
historical reference from my point of view.
yeah. I think it's good if we understand how the systems work. We don't have the power to change it,
But
but
they
you can,
repeat.
right, but they repeat. And if you understand what's happening,
You can take
you
great
understand what the
damage.
levers,
Uh-huh.
you can position yourself so you're like,
Yep.
oh, gee, you know what? Well, like having cash in an emergency, right? If
Yep.
I have my debit card, yes, I have a way to pay. The power goes out. This is plastic.
Yep.
Oh, I have cash.
Yep.
Oh, I have something to trade. I have other levers I can pull. And really,
Exactly.
isn't that what it's about?
Yes. Exactly.
Is being able to maneuver the challenges. But in any case, man, it was great chatting with you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me on this absolutely off schedule live stream. Um, Folks, be careful out there if you're traveling. You heard Neil, saw everyone in the chat. Listen to the weather, check your vehicles, and have what you need to stay safe when you're on the road or in an airplane for that matter. But you guys be good, be safe. Neil, thank you so much for jumping up here, man.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
All right, take
Happy
care, my
holidays.
friend. Hey, have a blessed new year, my friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to everyone else, thank you very much. Again, completely off schedule. Just wanted to check in on the weather. I'm going to try and do going into 26 as my schedule kind of levels out, and I have a teammate who's getting very good at what she's doing, which is great because I was running a whole region by myself. Being able to take that time, make a few quick live streams in the evenings would be a lot of fun. And hopefully, I can do those cooking videos I've been promising because those are a lot of fun. I'm hoping in the next month to have members of the military police corps, including one of my own sons, join me for a live stream while cooking and drinking, which should be absolutely wild. So, anyway, until next time, God bless, Godspeed, have a happy new year if I don't see you again, and you guys be careful out there.